Welcome to the Sunday School Reading Channel. If this reading is a blessing to you, please like, share, and subscribe. Our reading today begins with a poem entitled, I Never Found the Time. I knelt to pray, but not for long. I had too much to do. Must hurry off and get to work, for bills would soon be due. As I said a hurried prayer, jumped up from off my knees, my Christian duty now was done. My soul could be at ease. All through the day I had no time to speak a word of cheer, no time to speak of Christ to friends. They laugh at me, I feared. No time, too much to do. That was my constant cry. No time to give to those in need. At last, it was time to die. And when before the Lord I came, I stood with downcast eyes. Within his hand he held a book. It was the book of life. He looked in the book and said, Your name I cannot find. I once was going to write it down, but never found the time. Be blessed. Our lesson for February 25th, 2024 is entitled Faith in God's Purpose. The devotional reading comes from Jeremiah chapter 29, verses 8 through 14. Background scriptures come from Habakkuk chapter 1, verses 5 through chapter 2, verse 5. Print passage comes from Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 1 through 5. Adult key verse comes from Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. The devotional reading, Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 8, reads as follows. Yes, this is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says. Do not let the prophets and diviners among you deceive you. Do not listen to the dreams you encourage them to have. Verse 9. They are prophesying lies to you in my name. I have not sent them, declares the Lord. Verse 10. This is what the Lord says. When 70 years are completed for Babylon, I will come to you and fulfill my good promise to bring you back to this place. Verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Verse 12. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. Verse 13. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Verse 14. I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and will bring you back from captivity. I will gather you from all the nations and places where I have banished you, declares the Lord, and bring you back to the place from which I carried you into exile. Background scriptures, print passage, and adult key verses will be read in their entirety, beginning at Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 5, and proceeding through chapter 2, verse 5. Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 5 reads as follows. Look at the nations and watch, and be utterly amazed, for I am going to do something in your days that you would not believe, even if you were told. Verse 6. I am raising up the Babylonians, that ruthless and impetuous people, who sweep across the whole earth to seize dwellings not their own. Verse 7. They are a feared and dreaded people, They are a law to themselves and promote their own honor. Verse 8. Their horses are swifter than leopards, fiercer than wolves at dusk. Their cavalry gallops headlong. Their horsemen come from afar. They fly like an eagle, swooping to devour. Verse 9. They all come intent on violence. Their hordes advance like a desert wind and gather prisoners like sand. Verse 10. They mock kings and scoff at rulers. They laugh at all fortified cities. By building earthen ramps, they capture them. Verse 11. Then they sweep past like the wind and go on. Guilty people whose own strength is their God. Verse 12. Lord, are you not from everlasting? My God, my Holy One, you will never die. You, Lord, have appointed them to execute judgment. You, my rock, have ordained them to punish. Verse 13. Your eyes are too pure to look on evil. You cannot tolerate wrongdoing. Why then do you tolerate the treacherous? Why are you silent while the wicked swallow up those more righteous than themselves? Verse 14. You have made people like the fish in the sea, like the sea creatures that have no ruler. Verse 15. The wicked foe pulls all of them with hooks. He catches them in his net. He gathers them up in his dragnet, and so he rejoices and is glad. Verse 16. Therefore he sacrifices to his net and burns incense to his dragnet. For by his net he lives in luxury and enjoys the choicest food. Verse 17. Is he to keep on emptying his net, destroying nations without mercy? Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. I will stand at my watch and station myself on the ramparts. I will look to see what he will say to me, or what answer I am to give to this complaint. Verse 2. Then the Lord replied, write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets, so that a herald may run with it. Verse 3. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. Verse 4. See, the enemy is puffed up. His desires are not upright, but the righteous person will live by his faithfulness. Verse 5. Indeed, wine betrays him. He is arrogant and never at rest, because he is as greedy as the grave, and like death is never satisfied. He gathers to himself all the nations and takes captive all the peoples. This concludes our reading. Please join with me as we recite Psalms 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Thank you for listening. If this reading has been a blessing to you, please like, share, and subscribe.